Okay. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Certainly a wonderful day. I want to offer a disclaimer to start with. I do know that educators are supposed to separate church and state, but I do have a brief quote that I'd like to use that I think is very appropriate for this day. I'll use a new international version. It says, "The Lord has done it this very day. Let us rejoice today and be glad." I think there's no more appropriate statement for this occasion than that. So I'll take my slight violation of church and state. Good morning to everyone. First of all, I'd like to let everyone know that today you will see a few of our students here, but all of the staff and students of Ahoskie Elementary School are joining us via Zoom and YouTube, and so they are an active part of this process. Just want to make sure everybody knew that they're getting an opportunity to see and be a part of this momentous occasion that I'm sure that they will benefit from years to come. Today is a day of victory for us. No better investment can we make, in my opinion, than an investment in our future. So today is about the future of our county, our community, and the state and the nation, because we have made a commitment to provide better education environment for our students. As I said, it's a great day for our state, Hertford County, and most specifically the staff and students who get to learn in this wonderful state-of-the-art environment. 6 years ago, when I first became superintendent here, almost 6 years ago now, December 1st will be 6 years, I roamed into a grocery store to pick up a few items, and I was approached by a young lady. I wish I had gotten her name today because I'd have her sitting right here, to be honest with you. But anyway, we had an opportunity to interact, and she asked me the question, "Aren't you the new superintendent?" "Yes, ma'am." "Are you going to be the person that finally gets this Ahoskie Elementary School built?" My promise to her was, "Yes, ma'am, I am." Didn't know how I was going to get it done at the time. Didn't know the history behind it. But today, almost 6 years later, here we are. And I'm so thankful for that and thankful for me being able to keep that promise, thanks to many of you that are here in the audience today. So Ahoskie Elementary School was open today for staff on August 16th, 2021. It was open for students August 23rd, 2021. And still to come, and you can see the excerpts of it in the back, we're going to also be adding a state-of-the-art auditorium that will be used also in addition to for our students and staff. It will be an opportunity for the community to gather when time permits, when we get past this pandemic. You are witnessing, ladies and gentlemen, the beginning of the creation of our future, as I expect this to be a game-changing venue for our community for many years to come. And so before we get too deep into this, I'd like to thank all of you that had a part to play in the creation of and the reality of this beautiful facility that you see behind us. Like to have an opportunity to introduce and have stand when I call your name, special guests that we have here today. We have representatives from the State Superintendent's Office, Ms. Catherine Truitt. If you're here representing the State Superintendent's Office, North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, if you'll stand at this time. All right, thank you. We have members of the State Board of Education. We've got one member that's going to stand twice. We have members of the State Board of Education here today. If you all will stand, please. Thank you. It's going to be a minute, Mr. Hall. We have representative, our state representative, Mr. Howard Hunter III. We have Senator Bob Steinberg was invited. I think somebody told me he was here. Okay, don't see him right now. Members of the Ahoskie Town Council, if you're here, you'll stand. Okay. All right. Mr. Mayor, we got a separate one for you. But while you're standing, sir, that we'll get that out of the way, by all means. This is our mayor, Mr. Wailing White, brother. Wailing White, how about that? We have the Hereford County Commissioners. If you all will stand at this time. We have Mr. Ronald Gatling. We have Mr. John Horton. I don't see Mr. Mitchell. Mr. Douglas is not here right now, is that correct? And Mr. Andre Lassiter. Thank you for being here. We are honoring past board members. Mr. Ronald Baker, not sure if he's present. Dr. Joanne Jones is not present. Ms. Annette Thompson and Mr. David Shields. All right. Past principal, Miss Agnes Hall. I don't know if I saw her this morning. Okay. Miss Sandra Jones, who's a past assistant superintendent, was invited. My good friend, Dr. Kirk Peterson, I think I saw him earlier, president of Chowan University. Dr. Catherine Stickney, you stood earlier. Dr. Stickney is a regional support director for our region. Dr. Murray Williams, the RCC president, I don't think I saw her. She is back here. Oh, there she is. Oh, standing in the rain. All right. Come on under the tent, Dr. Williams. Yeah. In this process to get it kicked off, we had a stakeholder committee. These are people that were selected by the county commissioners, as well as the Board of Education collaboratively to serve on a stakeholder committee to get this process started with architect selection and things of that nature. We have members of the committee. If you are here today and you are part of the stakeholder committee, if you'll stand at this time. We'll name those members. Mr. Andre Lassiter, Mr. Carol White, Mr. Curtis Freeman, Mr. James Ure, Ms. Berna Stevens, Ms. Dale Acock, Ms. Lisa Newsom, Ms. Margaret Hampton Gaines, Ms. Sheila Tripp, and Reverend Robert Richardson III. I figured you'd stand. So their work, of course, was very key and instrumental in helping us establish the boundaries, and I'm sure SFLA and AR Chesson are very grateful that that committee was formed. We also have, she already stood, Ms. Jill Kamnitz, who is a Region 1 State Board representative. We have Mr. Brandon McPherson from Swartz and Shaw, who's here today. And from AR Chesson, if you gentlemen will stand, I have Brian Plyler. He's the one that I've worried to death throughout this whole project. Mr. Daniel Plyler. Mr. Al Chesson. And Mr. Joe Richardson. And tell me your, and Mr. Michael Roberts. Thank you for being here. From SFLA, who's our architectural firm, we have Jackie Warwick and Tom Hughes. And our Hereford County Schools County Manager, Mr. David Cotton. And I promise you, if I missed your name, it is not because I don't like it. But we certainly appreciate all of you being here and the efforts that you put into making this day happen. Last but not least, I'd like to recognize a couple of folks that have been kind of behind the scenes but keeping the superintendent straight. The first one is my assistant superintendent, Ms. Tammy Ward, and my maintenance director, Mr. Woodson Hunter. Absolutely. All those days, brother. We are indeed so thankful for all of you and the amazing work that has been done to get us here. And now, so I can make sure I keep my paycheck, I want my Board of Education members that are here, if you'll come and stand with me. That's not just to keep my paycheck, y'all. You might say, yeah, it is. So 6 years ago, first, when I got the opportunity to come here and participate in this thing called the superintendency, they trusted a person that they didn't know very well. You know, just heard a little bit about me, I think, and yet we had the opportunity to work together. And throughout these almost 6 years, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened, ladies and gentlemen. But at the core forefront of all of this work has been making outcomes better for children. There is no better example that we can look at for years and years and years of the dedication of our work to try to make sure that children have what they need than the examples that is behind me. This project is a $21 million project when it gets completely finished. And so the wonderful thing about that is through some efforts by many people in the audience, these people up here standing beside me, we got a $21 million facility, ladies and gentlemen, for $6 million. But the bigger thing than that is the board continued to have a vision throughout this process, through calls to me, through knocking on doors, traveling to Raleigh, that not only did we just want a school that served children, but we wanted this school to be a game changer. And so when you look at the new Ahoskie Elementary School, you're not seeing an ordinary school. This is not just something that we put up to get out of an old building. If you look at the technology, if you look at the seating, if you look at the casework, everything about this school speaks that we care about the future, that we're investing in the future. And so I'm proud to stand with this Board of Education, knowing that we have done work that will be important for many generations to come. And so I just want to thank you all for pushing me to get this day done. Thank you. Now at this time we will have, I don't know if I'm supposed to be kind of master of ceremony in this thing or not, but that's what we'll do. So at this time we will have our Ahoskie Elementary students come forth for the Pledge of Allegiance. Baby, stand.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job. Great job. At this time, I would like to welcome to the podium the illustrious principal of the new Ahoskie Elementary School, Ms. Elena Riddick.
Good morning. Good morning. First of all, I want to introduce my babies to you all. Um, we have Miss Ariel Cook. She's a fourth grader here at Ahoskie Elementary School. Stand up for me, baby. We have Miss Lily Farmer, who is a fifth grader here at Ahoskie Elementary School. And then we have Mr. Uriel Espinosa Medina, who is a fifth grader here at Ahoskie Elementary School. Thank you all so much, and I want to welcome you to the new Ahoskie Elementary School, where we are challenging, motivating, and engaging our scholars to become the productive citizens of tomorrow. We are so delighted to have you here today, and we hope that you enjoy your stay with us. And we want you all to know that the best is yet to come. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to welcome Mrs. Sheila Porter to the stage. She's going to bring greetings from the Board of Education, and then following her, Mr. Ronald Gatlin, Chairman of the Board of Commissioners, will come as well.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
On behalf of the Hertford County Board of Education, I bring you greetings, and I would like to introduce at this time my fellow board members. Mr. Dennis DeLoach, oh, that's on. Mr. Wendell Hall, Mr. Edward Hall, Mr. James Shern. I would like to acknowledge Mr. David Shields, a former board member who began this journey with us. Thank you, Mr. Shields. On behalf of the board, we would like to thank everyone here today because you know that the foundation for today's celebration began years ago by former board members, school leaders, our county commissioners, and the community. It is their hard work, dedication, and forward thinking that set us on this path. To our distinguished guests today, we thank you for your support, your genuine concern, and your generosity and time. All of us should take a moment to reflect at this time on what we can accomplish when we work closely together and focus entirely on what's best for our children. We should all be proud of the result. This beautiful new Ahoskie Elementary School. We thank you so much for bringing our vision to life with such excellent teamwork. This teamwork has made possible a commitment to providing the highest quality teaching and learning environment. Mrs. Riddick and her faculty and students at Ahoskie Elementary School that are watching us today, so we want to include them. We thank you so much for your hard work and dedication for such an excellent and exciting school opening this year. Let's give them a hand. Dr. Wright, your leadership, along with Mr. Hunter and his department, and the firm of A.R. Cheston Construction and SFLA Architects, we want to say a special thank you, and we appreciate so much you working with our team and our county commissioners. We can't leave you out. We met during holiday times. I think it was during Christmas time. You were with us all the way. We want to say a special thank you to so many people, and all of you are included with us in this exciting, beautiful day, even though it's raining today. I just want to leave you with this thought, and we've heard it over and over again. It takes a village to raise a child, and our village is here with us today. Those community people and all of you that are present today. It took us working together, teamwork, staying focused on what's most important, our children in Hereford County. Thank you so much.
I'm going to a funeral once I leave this, and I'm not at a funeral now, so let everybody loosen up. And this is a celebration, and you got $21 million to celebrate. So how about let's just loosen up some, all right? Without all the formalities and dignitaries, this is a golden day. And Mr. Hall, hold your head up. If we can't get no brighter than that. I bring greetings to you from the Hereford County Board of Commissioners on this auspicious occasion. We want to thank the Board of Education, Dr. Wright, Superintendent, for allowing us to be a part of such a grand golden day. In 2016, I ran and told the public all over this county that we're going to build a school. 2016. It's unprecedented for a Board of Commissioners to say to a Board of Education, you need to build a school. I went to Brother Wendell Hall house and I said, Hall, we need to build a school. He said, let's do it. Well, you see what's behind us. But before I move on, I need to acknowledge some people that was in this process, because there was a lot of sacrifices and a lot of commitment and a lot of people engaged in this. Our past manager, Loria Williams, former County Commissioner Curtis Freeman, the late County Commissioner Johnny Farmer, and my good friend who we didn't see eye to eye, David Shields. To the present board that's here today, you can campaign on an issue and you can make all kind of promises. But if you in elected official, it takes 3 to pass anything. So when we brought that idea back to the current board, there was no unwavering support. Commissioner John Horton, Commissioner Bill Mitchell, Commissioner Andre Lassiter, Commissioner Leroy Douglas, and our current county manager, David Cotton, all was embedded in moving forward with this process. And what's amazing about this process here is that 50 years ago, I sit in a classroom across the street that will be now called the old Ahoskie Elementary School. Today, I stand 50 years later at the birth of the new Ahoskie Elementary School. And it's amazing that a commissioner told me that you can't measure education in dollars and cents. And the students that are sitting in this classroom today won't remember this day. They won't know our names, but they will benefit for what happens in these walls. And 30 years from now, this is the outcome. Every student that have passed through here, we have grown to be educators, doctors, laborers, teachers, from the commitment and sacrifice and the vision of the people that are sitting here today. And I have to say that even though y'all don't know behind the scenes that this wasn't supposed to happen, there was no way that we were supposed to be able to build a $21 million school. And I wish Senator Sandberg was here today because he was a major part. We met with the governor, hometown strong, and talked with them. We got in our vehicles, went down to Raleigh on 4 different occasions, met with the senators. I hope he talked to, evidently he talked to, because we got a school, the superintendents and the state board of education. In a conversation with Mr. Shields, and I hope he don't mind me saying it, he said, well, I hope we build one, but I don't think you'll get the money. Well, to God be the glory, what's behind us today, the new Ahoskie Elementary School. So I come today that no matter who gets the credit, who benefits, the students and this community. I want to thank you for allowing us to be a part of such a grand occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was mentioned already by Commissioner Gatling as well as others that we had a tremendous amount of help at the state level. Our Senator Steinberg, who's not present today, was instrumental. But also, I would be remiss if I didn't also talk about the work done behind the scenes by Representative Howard Hunter III, who we can always count on. He lives in the community, is always a very present help to help us do whatever is needed. And so we're asking him to come forth at this time, Representative Howard Hunter III.
Good morning. On behalf of the North Carolina House, I don't see Steinberg, the Senate, the governor of North Carolina, I bring you greetings. And I congratulate you on a state-of-the-art facility, Ahoskie Elementary School. Ronald mentioned that he was in school across the street. My mother taught across the street. It's probably been more than 50 years ago, so that's telling you all's age. Mr. Hall, we heard the superintendent call him brother. Brother Hall, my Kappa brother. I'm telling you now, 21 million for 6 million is a deal. That's a deal. Chairman, you mentioned working together. We always say in the house, working together works. It works. When you work with others, you get things accomplished. Brother Hall, if your board of education and the school system ever needs anything, call Ronald Gatlin. And I'm sure he'll call us. Again, we congratulate you on your achievement. I too have a service after 10 or 11 o'clock. Again, congratulations.
The town of Ahoskie recently elected a new mayor who happens to be my fraternity brother, Mr. Hunter. At this time, we'll ask to come forth Mr. Wayland White.
Before I get started, I want to thank Chairman Ronald Gatlin for pointing out this golden hat that Dr. Hall is sitting here wearing, because this is the closest he's going to get to being an Alpha man, wearing the gold coat. Thank you, brother. So I bring you all greetings from the town of Ahoskie, and on behalf of our residents, we want to welcome you to our town. I actually attended school across at the old elementary school, and I was actually in school when Bearfield was being built, and I was able to, and it's funny how things work full circle, because I was able to actually work in a program for youth called Freedom School with Mr. Ronald Gatlin that put together, and I was able to see how much that did an impact on our kids and our community, and I forever be grateful for that experience that I was able to take with me throughout life. I also have, in addition to being a lifelong resident here and a graduate of Hertford County Schools, I'm currently a parent. of a Hertford County student. And so it's a pleasure every single day to drop my little girl off at school and see one of my favorite teachers, Miss Shields, her husband is here, outside greeting kids and having the same lovely smile and having the same great energy that she did when I was in school. So it's a pleasure to see the wonderful work that our teachers, our school system is doing for our kids. I want to thank our county commissioners, our elected officials, our Board of Education for all of your hard work, our wonderful superintendent for bringing this thing to fruition. And I'm so excited for what's to come for the future of our children and our community. And I want to thank you all for bringing us to the town of Ahoskie. Thank you all for your time.
In most processes that we have, there is generally what is called a groundbreaking ceremony when construction begins. And then there is an occasion like today, which is the official ribbon cutting and turning over the school to the school district. Well, this is not a usual time. So today we are going to present groundbreaking shovels. Now, these shovels are designed so they're not supposed to be doing a whole lot of work, ladies and gentlemen. They are tokens of the school and meant to be displayed. So I'm sure I don't have to tell most of the people that are going to be receiving these that they're not for work, because most of them are retired. Anyway, at this time, we'll start on this end. Where's my administrative assistant? If you'll help me, I'd appreciate it. Let's give her a round of applause, by the way. Best administrative assistant in the world, Mrs. Whitney Hall. You starting on that end? Okay. All right. Tell me who it is. Of course, the first one is presented to the board chair, Mrs. Sheila Porter. Let's give her a round of applause. Our vice chair, Mr. Dennis Loach, is not present, but he has one as well. Mr. Eddie Hall. Let's give him a round of applause. Mr. J. Wendell Hall. Reverend Dr. James Shern. Okay. Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Tammy Ward. I saw that look. She didn't know she was getting one. That's good. The next shovel is presented to the State Superintendent of Public Instruction. Actually, we talked about the $15 million grant. Mr. Mark Johnson, who's the former State Superintendent, was the one instrumental, Mr. Gatlin mentioned earlier, in being voluntold to make sure we got that money. Our current State Superintendent is Ms. Catherine Truitt, who is not here today. So if there's a representative from the State Superintendent's office that can get that back to her, we certainly would like to give it at this time. Thank you. It's Mr. Freebird McKinney, ladies and gentlemen. We have former board members that the board wanted to recognize because of their input and influence into the building of the school. Mr. John Horton, who's a former board member. Yes, sir. Dr. Joanne Jones, who is not present, also has one. We will do the honors of presenting a shovel that will be displayed in the new Ahoskie Elementary School. So I'll ask Ms. Elena Riddick to come forth at this time. The county commissioners also collectively played a strong role in this process, of course. Mr. Ronald Gatlin, if you'll come forward. Mr. Gatlin, he actually has one of his own. At this time, I would like to just take a special privilege, if I might, Madam Chair, members of the board. Mr. Woodson Hunter, who is my maintenance director, the district's maintenance director, has spent more time probably even than the superintendent here making sure that things were okay. Last year, when the school was first under construction, I was recovering from some medical challenges. And you all don't know this, but I got a play-by-play of what was going on every day that I was away. Just the untimely dedication to the work and making sure that it gets done. And he's going to get me. He doesn't like a lot of fanfare. But there's not a better behind-the-scenes person making sure the stuff gets done. So that's the superintendent took a special privilege, Madam Chair, to make sure that Mr. Hunter got a shovel as well. Mr. Woodson Hunter. There are also two additional former board members that the board wanted to recognize because of their input and dedication. One I had the pleasure of working with, and one that was preceded my time here. And those people are Mr. Ronald Baker and Mr. David Shields. And somewhere on the table is one for me. They keep telling me you got to say you got one too, Dr. Wright. So I'm certainly excited about that. It will be displayed in my gold office, Mr. Hall, to make sure that, and you see it kind of matches too, right? You know, black and gold shovel. Anyway, we are certainly, ladies and gentlemen, very appreciative of you all being here. And we want to, for those of you that have received shovels that are here, if you'll indulge us, we want to try to take a couple pictures. I think Ms. Parker will make that happen. So we'll follow her direction at that time if y'all can hang out with us for a minute. Okay, thank you. Thank you. You want to do it now or pause and do it now? What's your preference? While it's not raining? Okay, if y'all are just hanging there with us, let's go do that really quickly and then we'll come back, okay? Y'all come on. You have music to play while the children are watching.
Can you get it with the camera?
Don't smile. As if we care.
I ain't getting you my check. I ain't getting you my shovel back.
Which one going first? Okay. At the beginning, thank you. At the beginning of this project, the stakeholder committee vetted very, very, very carefully, Mr. Lasser, to put it lightly. There were 6 architects that applied for and received and entered bids to bid on this project. Stakeholder committee selected SFLA and Associates to do the architectural work, and then through the construction bids, AR Chesson won that bid. And as you can see, all you got to do is look behind me. Those teams work collaboratively, very well together to produce an amazing facility. So at this time, I'd like to bring up Mr. Al Chesson, I believe, and Mr. Tom Hughes. Mr. Chesson, of course, from AR Chesson, and Mr. Hughes from SFLA.
Can I ask our staff to come up here, please, and stand?
Yeah, Jackie, come on up too. Well, up there.
Thank you, Dr. Wright, Mr. Hunter, and the Hertford County Public School staff. You have been absolutely tremendous to work with. Thank you to the Board of Education. Thank you to the county commissioners for having the confidence in our firm to do this work, and we appreciate that confidence. We thank you to FLL Architects and Tom Hughes and Jackie and team. This is a very efficient, cost-effective building, and the building should be very easy to maintain. That's very important long-term, the efficiency of this building. I want to thank Daniel Plyler, Joe Richardson, Paul Sestero, Michael Roberts, and the man who literally has lived on this site for the last 18 months, Daniel, Brian Plyler, step out front, please. This man works 7 days a week. I think he did go to church, but he worked 14-hour days, and this man made this happen from our staff. It was a team effort.
I just want to tell you, I saw him one day, I was Sunday morning, out with a push board cutting grass out in front.
That's the dedication, and that's why we have the quality building that we did. Despite COVID, material delays, I can go on and on, all the opportunities and issues, bad weather that we had. In fact, the weekend before, a team had to fly out to Iowa and drive a panel truck back here to install the doors the week before, because that's the only way we can get the doors and install the hardware. So, I mean, it's been a Herculean effort to get this thing done. So I thank you to the staff and everybody that's worked with us to do this. In my 40 years, this has been the hardest time of product availability to get anything done. So, but most of all, as has been said before today, the reason that we do all this is for what's inside the assets that are in that building there. So we thank you for this opportunity. It's been quite a pleasure.
Thanks, Al. I'm Tom Hughes with SFL&A Architects, and I just want to express my most profound appreciation to this whole educational community for the opportunity and the privilege of working with such a dedicated, enthusiastic, and committed staff. Because I'll piggyback on Al's comments. I've been an architect for almost 40 years, 35 years designing schools. This is one of the most challenging projects in one of the most challenging times. And it not only the COVID, but even back as far as, I mean, we keep talking about $21 million for 6. Well, that started with the needs-based public school capital fund. Well, you don't get that fund unless the county works with the educators and the school board. So Chair Gatling, Chair Porter, and from Mr. Shields, it has been such an unbelievable commitment and vision. Dr. Wright mentioned they interviewed architects. He comes to me and says, Tom, I'm going to hire you, but we got to get it done. We got to get it done. And my personal thanks. And this process started three years ago, but we've known each other a little longer than that. And so not only that professional relationship, that guidance and that leadership, but at a personal level, the friendship that I feel, and I think it's mutual, that has brought this facility to life. I do schools. That's all I design are schools, because it's the real opportunity to leave a mark in the future. You know, I think Al said it, we've heard it a couple of times. We do it today, but as you said, Ron, this is for those that come long after us. And this isn't a 20-year building, this is a 100-year building. And it's going to be here for generations to come, because that's what the commitment was and the vision. And I can't say enough. He says, Tom, I got a vision and we're going to make it happen. But it wasn't without the extreme commitment and just the enthusiasm for realizing this. And now put it on a personal level. This is a fabulous building. I mean, of the ones that we've got to do, this one is just so exciting in the impact that it can make in the educational future of your students, your community. And I'm just so privileged, again, to be able to sit here. Everybody's thrown out acknowledgments, but certainly with Al and Daniel and Brian and the day-to-day, Jackie being here. Jackie did the construction administration, so she knows this building inside and out. I mean, we've done everything here from the paint, which, by the way, there is no paint right now. You can't get paint. The doors, he flew out to Iowa to get the doors. I mean, it has been an unbelievable challenge, and yet we got it open on time. And that was just, you know, there was a commitment there. Again, yeah, it was close. But, you know, we took on the challenge, and I think it is that commitment that I see here, and look for great things to come in this community as well. And again, I'm so happy to have been a part of that. So I thank you once again. We wish you could tour it today. I did do the handout, so you at least get a little idea. So when you do get a chance to come, use the floor plan, see what it is and where everything is. And this one really is at the forefront of what our educational community is today. And I'm so, again, thank you for that opportunity. All right. Yeah.
This is the first time I've accepted a building, so I need a little direction in terms of how that, yeah, right. Uh-huh.
And that's good that you're here. On behalf of A.R. Chesson and SFL Architects, I am proud to present to you the new Ahoskie Elementary School.
Thank you. All right. Because we've known each other so long, I could get him on that. Yeah. Anyway, thank you. Thank you on behalf of the 2,400 students in Herb County Schools, about 500 employees. And if I may take the honor on behalf of the 5 members of the Herb County Board of Education, we thank you and we accept the new Ahoskie Elementary School, and we're looking forward to serving students for many years to come. This time it's time for the formal ribbon cutting. We're asking that the Board of Education, County Commissioners, Mrs. Riddick, Ms. Beverly, and the Ahoskie Elementary students, all of us will kind of line up across here. I am going to defer the honor of ribbon cutting of the school to Ms. Riddick, the principal. She'll be the one holding the scissors and actually doing the cutting. Mrs. Riddick, by the way, shameless plug, is also a Herb County native and a graduate of Herb County High School. And you attended the old Ahoskie Elementary School, is that right? Okay, all right.
Yes, and I worked at Freedom School.
behind. She's kind of behind the podium. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right. Everybody ready? Thank you all very much for coming. That does it for our ceremony. Thank you all for being here and being a part of this special occasion.
Thank you.